Okay, we're going to do another tutorial today. And today it's going to be this color wheel right here. I learned to make this, so I figured I'd share it with you. And let's jump right into it as always. First thing you're going to have to make when you make this is this right here. And in order to make that, you're going to have to make these different layers. At least that's how I found the easiest way to do it. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab our ellipse tool. We're going to hold shift. Draw out our circle. And my canvas is 1920 by 1080. Just to let you know. I mean, I do some pretty fairly sized drawings, 5,000, 10,000 pixels. Okay, so we got this circle drawn. We got our work path. Save our work path. We got that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stroke that work path. I have my brush set on 1 pixel, 2 pixels, and it's on black. Okay, so now that we've stroked that path, we're going to start a new layer. And we're going to, in order to make that pie shape, we need to start at 0 here, or at the center point of our canvas. So what I'm going to do is go over here and select all, grab my pointer, and I'm going to align it to the center. Okay. Control D. Back up here to layer 1. Now, since I know the size of my canvas, I know that the center of this canvas is 960. And then the center of it this way is 1080, which will be 540. Okay, so now we know that we have the center. And you can just take whatever it is and divide it by 2. Whatever size your canvas, whatever width it is, divide it by 2. Whatever height it is, divide it by 2. And that's where you set these grids. Now, if you notice, my grids are red, because I can't stand that stupid color that they give you. Just go to Preferences, go to Grids, Guides, Grids, Slices, and then just change the guides to whatever color you want. I chose red because it tends to stand out more than other things. Okay, so now that we've talked about something that has nothing to do with the thing, let's get on with it. Now, the one beautiful thing about the pen tool is that you can always change your points. If I get that to where it's not right, I can always change it. We're going to zoom right on in. That one looks good. This one could use, it looks like it could use a little work. Maybe. I'm going to hold Control, and that ain't going to get it for me because that guide is in my way. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll move the guide out of the way. This one. Now you see it put that on 960. It was 950. Since grid. Now what we're going to do is we are going to stroke this path. We're going to use the pencil. My pencil is set on 1 pixel, black. We have stroked that line, so we're going to click off our path. Get rid of our guide. I'm just holding control to slide those guides around. Get off the layer 1. And what we'll do is we'll Control T. And that brings that up. Now I want to rotate this 120 degrees from the top around. So we're going to have to change our pivot point over here. Change our anchor point to the bottom. Okay, now that we've done that, we got our Control T. We go over here to this little angle icon. If you didn't know what it was, you probably never would, because they don't like to tell you things like that. Now, you see how I did that? That will rotate it 100 degrees. Okay, so let's Control Z. Let's not check that. What we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this layer. Now we're going to Control T. Now we're going to change this. Now we're going to change this to 120. Okay. And then we're going to bring this guy back up. Now, that gives us our pie shape. We're going to throw all this away. We're going to go back to our pen tool. We're going to zoom in. You want to get this pretty darn close. Close as you can. Now I'm going to hold Alt. I'm going to slide this around. Come back over here. Slide that out. Now I'm going to hold Alt again. There's that little guy. Holding Control. What we'll do is we'll zoom out a little bit. Get the space bar. Get that where we want it. I prefer to keep the pen tool and hold the Alt key as it changes. Now, no matter what you do, you'll never get that to work out right, because the pen tool will only do a quarter of the circle, 90 degrees. So you have to add this other point. So I added it in the middle. We're going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to hold Control. Get that real close. Now it's just a matter of hit the space bar, Control. Now you see, that's why you use the Alt key. I'm moving both of those, but I got them relatively close to each other. So what we're going to do, hold the Alt key, and we'll get this where we want it. I haven't let go of the Alt key. I've been hitting that Alt key the whole time. Now hold Control, bring up my point, switch to the Alt. Now if you notice, when I drew this, I went ahead and put these handles, followed that line. Okay, that looks pretty darn good to me. Now, we can turn off all of that because we don't need it. Now we'll make a new layer, layer 3. And we're going to fill this path. What we're going to fill it with, this is our red. We'll go to color. Now I'm going to show you something about how this works. About color. FF 0000. That's red. Okay. Okay. That does our red. Now, we have this layer selected. We have this path selected. Make sure we save that path because it will be deleted if we click on something. Okay. So now that we've got that, we can click off of that layer. We can make a new layer. Select our path. Control T. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. What you got to do is you got to bring this anchor point over to your intersection, your apex, the intersection point. Get it as close as you can because this is where it's going to pivot, and it's going to have, it'll be a small deal here, but it's going to accentuate out, and a little bit of off here makes for a lot of bit of off down the road. Okay. That's not what I meant to do. It was -10, so we're going to make that 120. Alright. Now we check that point. Now we will fill this path. Color. And since that one was FF with 4 zeros, this one's going to be 00, 2 F's, 2 zeros. That's our green. We just moved everything else is 0. First red was 255. Now green is 255. And we're knocking them off like that. And it's just going to keep right on moving. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and make us a new layer. Turn that layer off. Got our path. Control T. Now on this one, when you go to slide that up there, it's going to hit that anchor point. Boop. Go right to that anchor point. Now we'll take our angle. Another 120. We'll check it. And now we will fill that path with our color. And they're just going to move them two F's right on down. Now we're going to go 0, 0, 0, 0, F, F. And there's our blue. Okay, we'll click off the path and we'll see what we did. Okay. You don't have to worry so much about that. That didn't really bother me in the other one. We'll see how it comes out. Okay, now that we've done that, we need to I always duplicate my layers just in case you have a problem, something goes on. Go ahead and duplicate those layers and right click, merge those layers. And click on your last layer, make a folder, click on the first one, shift, shove them jokers in there, and let's get rid of them. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this layer, Control J, and we're going to change this to lighten. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control T, and we're going to change the angle of it to 60. And hit OK. Now I've always had these little pieces in there. Don't ask me why. It's probably something to do with my little selection. Probably get better and go back and fix that. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Now, like I told you, I always like to make a copy. So I'm going to Control J, copy, throw it in there. Now I've got everything saved out. Now we're going to merge these two layers. You can just hit Control E. We'll do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to Control J and make that again. And then what we're going to do is hit Control T. We're going to change the degree 30. We're going to check it. And we're going to change our opacity 50%. And starting to look a little familiar. Okay. Now what we'll do is we will hit Shift. We will merge these two layers. Okay. Now what we'll do is we need to add a gradient. Alright. We're going to change the blend mode to hard light. We're going to reverse it. We're going to go over here. And what you want to do is click on this little icon here, and you want to go down and click on Special Effects. And then you want to grab Gray Value Stripes. Just going to do this right here for you. And you're going to hit Okie Dokie. Now we're going to go from linear. That's those lines you see in it. That's a linear line. We're going to go to a radial. And there you go. Okay. Now, when I saw this was the end of it, so that was all they had. So what I did was I added these little spikes here, and those are black. So that I can always, this is my white, and this is my black, so that I can get to black from anywhere. And all that is, go over here to your custom shape tool. Scroll down, and it's a 10-pointed star. Now they have another one here that has more points on it. I hadn't tried it, but I like the way this does. This puts me right where I need it to. I don't need all that. So we're going to select that, and we're going to hold Shift while we do this, and boom. Now you could make this a shape layer, but then it's going to add a fill layer and all that. You know, it's complicated. I just have this on a path with my custom tool, like I showed you. Now we're going to hit Control T. We're going to hit Shift. We're going to bring this out. That's real close. We'll check it. Move this layer down below that one, and get another tool. We're going to fill that path black. Okay. Click off of that path. And there you go. Now what I would do is save this as a TIFF, and that way it saves all your layers and it totally preserves the photo. Or you can save it as a PSD, you know, whatever, but I save mine as a TIFF. And now you see how you can use this. This is a dragon I did the other day, and I'm going to do a tutorial on those rocks. I made those rocks and they turned out really good. Anyway, let's look at this a little bit. So now you bring this up and you have this color wheel, and then you can refine it with your color picker. Now you see right now it's at 000, which is black. Alright, so we'll bring that over. Now that is going to be right here on this line. And if you'll notice, as I go around this circle on this same point, you'll notice that this stays right up here, right here in the corner. And then what it's going to do is scroll through this right here. That's your hue. I'm just going to scroll through your hue for you. But then you'll notice as I move down, it's going to move this way towards the white. And as I move this way, it's going to move down towards the black. So what this thing is this centerpiece here is basically this to the circle, and you scroll through this. And you can do that, but this gives you a crisper, cleaner, definite red. You know, you move this thing, you know, it just so happens it red's at the end and all the way up. But, you know, if you want a blue, you want true blue, you want a good blue, And you come over here to this guy. And this will put you in the ballpark and give you more set colors. Sometimes when you're trying to find colors to do a drawing or whatever, you know, you get kind of stuck. And this kind of helps you to pull out those classic colors. And you just use it like a layer. And you know, you can turn that off, keep building up, and then when you get stuck on a color, you know, you can grab this little guy out. So we can probably find that color. There you go. That's really close to that. But you can also look at accentuating colors with this. You know, if you wanted to put in the center of this a pointer, it filled it on that other layer. Make a new layer. Fill. You wanted to make you a pointer on there, and then see it's going to point to your colors there, and you can figure out, you know, which ones are the specified colors for that. But then you just turn around and make that bigger, and you can make that as big or as small as you want. You know. Make it point just where you want it to. However you want it to. And that way, when you got the Control T up, see, you can change your angle. And it's got little slidey bars. You can slide them little bars. My computer's running slow. You can change it that way, and you can point it to different fields. You can also do it quicker like that and watch it come around. So there's your little color wheel today. This is kind of a quick one for me, but I thought this was really great, and I'm going to get a whole lot of use out of this. I sure do appreciate it. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see you in the next tutorial. Have a good day. Thank you.